Right now we are at the European Parliament and the EU elections have come to an end. You can see journalists, they are all reporting news from the Parliament, and this was the main political event of the Europe for the past 5 years. The results of the voting for the European Parliament was announced. With polls now closed for European elections, it's now becoming clear who the winners and losers are across the EU's 27 member states. The European Union has a parliament with 720 seats, and the latest elections have determined who will fill those seats. No single political party won a majority, so the different parties will need to work together to form a coalition government. So why MEPs are important and what role do they hold? Together with representatives of the government of the EU countries, MEPs shape and decide on new laws that influence all aspects of lives across the European Union, from supporting the economy and the fight against poverty to climate change and security. MEPs put important political, economic and social topics in the spotlight and uphold the values of European Union: respect for human rights, freedom, democracy, equality and the rule of law. Parliament approves the EU budget and scrutinizes how the money is spent. It also elects the President for the European Commission, appoints its commissioners and holds them to account. Each EU member country has a certain number of representatives in the parliament based on their population size. Voters in each country cast their ballots for national political parties, and those parties then join larger Europe-wide blocs once the parliament convenes. The traditional center-right and center-left groups, the EPP and SD, are facing challenges from more populist parties on both the left and the right side of the political spectrum. According to the estimates from the European Parliament, it appears the pro-European Green and Liberal Renew parties have suffered losses, potentially endangering the pro-EU majority needed to support key officials and legislation. So the preliminary results is being announced in the European Parliament. The different journalists are asking questions from the representatives of the parties. One of the questions that have been asked was, will the representatives of the Green Party vote for the Ursula von der Leyen for the next term, to which they answered that right now it is not about the personality, but it's more about the work of the party.
On the one hand, there are external factors in the sense that purchasing power, the war, inflation has played a bigger role in the election than climate, obviously. But then again, we will need to reflect as to how we go about selling citizens the need for change. Probably we should have delivered by and large a better game. I would like to say that our Spitzenkandidaten, Terry Reintke and Bas Eickhout, delivered a perfect game, but I'm not sure that every part of the Green family played at the same level.
The collapse in support for the traditional pro-European blocs seems to be accompanied by rise in backing for more extreme political parties across the continent. In France, for example, the far-right National Rally Party is projected to have secured over 31% of the vote, more than double the support for President Macron's party. This fragmentation of the European Parliament could make it much more difficult to build the coalitions needed to advance major EU initiatives and reforms going forward. Now, the EU member states authorities will communicate to the European Parliament the names of the elected MEPs in the coming days. The new mandate of the European Parliament in its joint homes of Brussels and Strasbourg will officially start on July 16.